Hi guys, this is Michael from the Ultra community, and in this video I'm going to be giving a video tour of the very first public version of the Ultra platform. First of all, a brief introduction for those of you who are not that familiar with the Ultra project. Reading from their website, Ultra is the first entertainment platform providing a variety of games industry services under a single roof accessible through a single login. Discover, buy and play games, watch live streaming feeds, interact with your favorite influencers, participate in contests, compete in tournaments, and much more. What that description doesn't mention is that the Ultra platform is actually built on top of a blockchain. The Ultra blockchain is a heavily modified version of the EOS blockchain, which is generally considered to be one of the first blockchains ready for mass market applications, like the Ultra platform. The Ultra platform has a number of powerful advantages over existing platforms such as Steam, both for gamers and developers, and in fact for influencers and content creators as well. And it's the blockchain component that enables all of these disruptive features. Features like the ability to buy and sell second-hand digital games, true ownership of digital items, instant payouts for developers instead of the usual 30 to 60 days, and that's just to name a few. Anyone who's involved in the blockchain space knows that while there are tremendous advantages to be gained by using blockchain, there is also a significant amount of friction associated with user onboarding. Things like account creation, private key management, wallets, exchanges can all be quite daunting, especially to non-technical people. The beauty of the Ultra platform lies in the fact that they are removing the friction typically associated with using a blockchain. They have especially removed it from the user side. Users can easily sign up and make full use of the Ultra platform with zero prior knowledge of blockchain or cryptocurrency. In fact, most likely won't even know they're using a blockchain. This is core to the philosophy of the Ultra project. It's why they don't mention it in their own description of the platform. It's personally what got me so interested in the project a couple of years back, and the results of that philosophy I think are already evident in this first version of the platform. So the platform has been under development for over 3 years at this point. They have a team of over 65 people, mostly developers, which put them among the largest projects in the blockchain space. It's also one of the largest in terms of scope. There is a greater vision to the Ultra project that extends beyond just gaming, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But what I will be demoing here is the very first public version running on a testnet version of the Ultra blockchain. A number of features that will be available for the first mainnet version and for the full public release are not available in this version, but there's still plenty to look at and do in this version, and I think it gives you a better idea of the overall vision of the project and also what's to come in the next few months. So without further ado, let's check out the Ultra platform. I'll start just by showing the sign up process first very quickly. It's very simple. Basically, Ultra just wants to know your email address, the country you live in, and your phone number. And that's it. So signing up to Ultra is basically the same as signing up to any other platform or service. The difference here is you've just been set up with a blockchain account, and you'll notice you didn't have to write a 24-word passphrase on a bit of paper or anything like that. When it comes to private key management, Ultra has developed a solution where your computer or device generates and secures your private keys. Ultra never has access to your private keys. If your computer dies or you somehow lose access to your account, you can recover your account the same way you recover any other account you have, by providing information that verifies you are in fact who you say you are. Obviously, because there could be a lot of value tied to your account, whether that be a lot of UOS or very rare and valuable digital items, there'll be ways of adding more layers of security, including hardware-based devices like Ledger. But remember, this is a mass market application, so at a base level, everything needs to be user-friendly. You can't ask kids to write 24 words down on a bit of paper and then to keep that bit of paper safe for years and years, because they won't, and they shouldn't be expected to. So the first thing you'll see when you've signed up is the main store page, and it should be a familiar sight to anyone that's used Steam or other stores. Here you have the popular and recommended games. These are data-driven recommendations based on your previous purchases and so forth. Suggested games are games that are being manually promoted by developers using Ultra's marketing toolbox. Then you have your own personalized wish list, and you can add games to the wish list just by clicking on the star here. And then below you basically have the full catalog of games. And you can narrow by filter, search tags, Metascore, that just gets the data from Metacritic.com. Then we have playing modes, co-op, single player, etc. and features like controller support. And obviously there's a bunch of grayed out stuff here, and that's just because the game selection at the moment is very limited. The reason for that is when the platform goes live on mainnet, everything's going to be reset. So basically all these published games are going to be wiped. So there's a few developers that agreed to do basically some throwaway work and publish a handful of games on the Ultra testnet version just for testing purposes. We know from the team they've signed up over 150 developers, including some powerhouses, and they have partnerships with the likes of Ubisoft, so there's going to be no shortage of quality games on Ultra by the time it launches to the wider public. So let's buy a game. And since this is in my wishlist, let's have a look at this one. So once you click on a game, again, you see something very similar to what you would see on Steam or other game stores. You have, a trailer or some gameplay footage. You have screenshots of the game, a description. You have various details about the game. System requirements, you can toggle between minimum and recommended. At the moment, you can't click on, Mac or Linux because Ultra is launching for Windows first. You have audio and language information. And then below that you have related games, which is basically, if you like this game, you might like these games kind of thing. The most interesting part, I think, is here around the buying options. This is where you'll see the different versions of the game, DLC, and so forth. If you don't know much about how games on Ultra will work, a very basic explanation would be, every game you buy on Ultra, you receive ownership of the game in the form of a non-fungible token, or NFT, which is a unique token that exists on a blockchain. The greatest attribute of NFTs is that they enable true and verifiable scarcity of digital goods because they have a known total supply that you can verify on a blockchain. Ultra has built something called the Token Factory, which gives developers the ability to fully customize their game NFTs, including making them scarce by imposing a maximum supply. So in crypto, the same way there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, on Ultra a developer can decide that there will only ever be, say, 10,000 copies of his game, but then enable those games to be traded between players on the secondary market. He can fully customize the trading conditions as well, so he can set a minimum resale price and also decide what percentage cut he's going to receive for every secondary sale. Imagine if you have a rare game on Ultra that also becomes super popular, and then suddenly you have people willing to pay a large premium to get their hands on it, which would bring all sorts of additional attention to the game, further increasing the demand for it. Anyway, that's just one maybe extreme example of how Ultra's NFT tech will give developers all new ways to monetize their games and to market their games as well, because you can generate a lot of excitement and tell a story around the idea of ownership of rare games. And then for gamers is the potential of actually making money off buying and selling games. But we will absolutely see developers publishing multiple different versions of their games, limited editions, localized content, exclusive DLC. Depending on the game, you could have tokenized maps or community-made mods. It's reasonable to expect we'll see some developers permit their community to monetize their mods, with the developer taking a percentage cut of every sale. This is one of many examples of Ultra's technology enabling a new win-win-win situation. The developer gains access to a new revenue stream, the talented modders are being financially rewarded for their efforts, and gamers benefit as well since modders will be incentivized to produce more and better content. There's not really any limit except for the imagination of game developers. Considering game devs are among the most creative people in the world, I think that in just a few years, we could see some really amazing uses of this technology that I don't think now we can even imagine. So from a gamer's perspective, and because I'm about to buy this game, I want to know what rights I have, like what am I allowed to do with this NFT token that represents my ownership of this game. But where you would find that information is by clicking on the version of the game that you want to buy, which unfortunately is the only thing I was asked not to show in this video because it's part of Ultra's NFT solution that they want to keep secret for the time being. But don't be too disappointed. This is not an NFT on the Ultra mainnet, so a lot of the information in there is like grayed out anyway. But if this was a game published on the Ultra mainnet and I was to click on this, I would find all sorts of information about the token, such as whether or not I will be able to trade the game on the secondary market. If I'm an influencer, I can find out what percentage of revenue I can earn by promoting the game to my followers, and all the other things I've mentioned already and more. But anyway, let's go ahead and buy this game. So it's the only thing in my basket, so we'll just check out. And I'm going to buy the game using my testnet UOS instead of using a credit card. I've already bought a game using a credit card. So let's continue. My info is already in there. And let's purchase the game. So because we're paying in UOS, we're asked to approve the transaction using the Ultra Authenticator. So let's hit approve. And there we purchased the game. So that was an on-chain purchase of a game using the testnet UOS. So that gives you a good idea of the speed of transactions on Ultra. So I'll get a receipt email from Ultra, thanking me for my purchase, and I can now go to my library and download the game. So let's hit download. The download speeds I get on Ultra are pretty good. My internet's not the best. Speeds are, comparable to, what I get on other platforms like Steam. But this will take a little while, so we'll just skip ahead. Cool, so that just took a few minutes. The game's downloaded, so let's play it. Well, I was really bad at that game. So other than that, we have some settings for the platform. We have some account user settings, but quite a bit of this stuff is not featured in this version. One other thing I found interesting about Ultra is that rather than navigating through one interface, you can actually have multiple tabs open at the same time. So if I was to spam the store button, I would open up all these separate tabs for the store, which maybe isn't immediately useful for the store component, but Ultra games are just one application within Ultra. So depending on the app, that could be an important feature. Speaking of apps, this is the application bar. So at the moment we have Ultra games, we have the Ultra wallet, we have Theta, this is a blockchain-based streaming service, and then we have the web browser. When I had a demo with the Ultra team, they had a few other apps down here, and I think they said even they were on an older version of the platform as well. So we can definitely expect to see more and more applications appearing here in the coming months, including for services that the team have said are going to be an integral part of Ultra, the Ultra ecosystem, like tournament platforms, chat, forums, NFT marketplaces, stores, the Kudo miner, and so forth. So I'll just quickly show the other apps. This is the Ultra wallet with my testnet UOS balance. We can see the token swap function, which looks very simple. You can pause and read that. With the wallet, this is obviously just a very basic version. By the time the mainnet launches, you'll be able to obviously send and receive UOS, and then later on there's going to be a feature as well to swap between the ERC20 and the mainnet token, as in it will be a two-way swap where you can swap back and forth. And then we have one of Ultra's ecosystem partners, Theta, great project. Like I said, it's a blockchain-based streaming service. At the moment, you still have to log in the same as you would if it was just through the web browser. Very soon, you'll be able to automatically log in to Theta using your Ultra account. And if you already have a Theta account, you'll be able to link that to your Ultra account. And the same will apply for other ecosystem partners that Ultra adds down the line. And then we finally have the built-in browser, which is essentially a Chrome-based browser. Basically works exactly like Chrome does. So that's where the Ultra platform is currently at. My overall impression so far are very positive, especially considering this is the very first version. The UI is really nice and intuitive, and I think you get a much clearer idea of kind of the vision behind the project. We've heard a lot about how the vision of Ultra extends beyond just gaming, and I think that's easy to imagine here. The PC games distribution platform, Ultra Games, which is all most people really know about if you ask them about Ultra. This is just one application in here. So Ultra have actually been building a platform for applications. You might even call it an operating system. The team's also made a lot of noise about being cross-platform, so you could even call it a cross-platform operating system. I don't know. But there's still quite a bit we don't actually know about Ultra. There are a lot of things that the team's been talking about for some time that we have not yet seen. And there are, of course, the even more secretive aspects of the project that we know even less about. I can tell you, though, that after seeing the developer side of the platform during the demo call with the team, Ultra has built an incredibly powerful publishing solution for game developers. The call went for over an hour, focusing almost entirely on the developer side, and it was almost overwhelming, the scope of what they've built. The feedback from developers has apparently been overwhelmingly positive, and I have no trouble at all believing that, especially when you consider all of the well-documented frustrations that developers have with Steam. So I really can't wait for the mainnet and to see what developers do when they finally get their hands on Ultra. In terms of what's coming up, in the next couple of months, around March or before, we're expecting the mainnet launch, and that will actually coincide with the second wave of users to be onboarded. This client automatically updates when new features are added, so in the meantime, if any new features pop up in this version, I'll be sure to make some new videos about those features. If you're not part of the Ultra community already and would like to join the conversation and receive updates, I'll link all those channels in the description below. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video tour of the Ultra platform, and thanks for watching.